All right, guys, so welcome to episode 3, which is on simplifying expressions. And then this is going to correspond with lesson 2.3, so chapter 2, lesson 3. So we're going to talk about a couple of important vocabulary words that we're going to need for this section. So first, we want to think about this expression. So we have 5x plus 4x plus 7. So the word term means terms are the parts of the expression that are separated by addition signs. So if we look at this expression, we notice that we see a couple of operations. We see addition, and then I see multiplication. So 5 times x and 4 times x. So what do we think are the terms in the above expression? So I'm going to think about which parts are separated by addition signs. So if I look, I notice that 5x and 4x are separated by an addition sign. So 5x and 4x are terms. And then 4x and 7 are separated by an addition sign. So 7 is also a term. So in this expression, we have 3 different terms. We have 5x, 4x, and 7. So let's think about another expression. So we have 13y minus 4 minus 4y plus 13. So if I look at this expression and I want to figure out what the terms are, I notice that I have subtraction, addition, and multiplication. And so I'm sure that some of you are maybe thinking, oh, the terms are 13y, 4, 4y, and 13. And I see where y'all are coming from. However, if we think back to the definition of a term, they have to be separated by addition signs. So some of the terms in the above expression are separated by subtraction signs. So for example, 13y minus 4 and then 4 minus 4y. So we need to use a subtraction strategy to change these subtraction signs to addition signs. I'm going to use the KFC or keep, flip, change strategy. So if I want to change 13y minus 4 to an addition problem, I'm going to keep my 13y, I'm going to flip my subtraction sign to an addition sign, and then I'm going to change 4 to negative 4. Then I'm going to do the same with my second subtraction sign. So now I have 13y plus negative 4, what we did previously, and now I have minus 4y. So I'm going to use KFC with the second part of my expression. So I'm going to keep my negative 4. I'm going to flip my subtraction sign to an addition sign, and I'm going to change 4y to negative 4y. So now I have this expression separated by addition signs. So now I can figure out what the terms are. So if we list the terms according to what is separated by the addition signs, I'm going to have 13y, negative 4, negative 4y, and 13. So in this expression, we have 4 terms separated by 3 addition signs. So let's go back to our first expression that we were talking about. So there are different kinds of terms. There are constant terms, there are like terms, and unlike terms. So we're going to start with constant terms. So a constant term is a number without a variable. So a number without a variable. So in the expression above, I see one constant term. I see 7 because 7 does not have a variable attached to it. It's just plain old 7. So 7 is going to be the constant. Will every expression have a constant? What do y'all think? I say no. So an example is if we have negative 4x plus 12x plus 5x squared. I notice that each of these numbers has a variable attached to it, so this expression will have no constants. Can an expression have only constants? What do you think? I say yes, that's what we've been doing all throughout chapter 1, right? We were just solving expressions by adding and subtracting integers. So this would be an example of just constants, right? I don't see any variables, I just see numbers. So 15, negative 9, and 53 would all be constants. So now we're going to talk about like terms, and this is going to be important for what we're going to be doing in class on Thursday or Friday, depending on when you have class. So a like term are terms that have identical variable parts. So let's think about what that means. So an identical variable parts mean that they have the same variable and the same exponent with that variable. So if we look up at our expression, are there any terms that are like? So are there any like terms in the above expression, which means they have the same variable and the same exponent? Yes, 5x and 4x. They have the same variable, which is x, and they have the same exponent, which is 1. I don't see an exponent there, but we can assume that there's a 1 as the exponent. Does 7 have a like term? No, right? There's no other numbers here that do not have a variable attached to them. So no, but if there was another number that was a constant, those could be like terms. But in this example, 7 does not have a like term. So the last one we're going to talk about is unlike terms. So unlike terms is just going to be the opposite of like terms. So unlike terms do not have the same variable parts. So if I look up at this example, do you see any unlike terms? I do. I see 7. So 7 does not have a variable, so it will be an unlike term with 5x and 4x, which means I would not be able to combine those terms. So one more word that's going to be important for this lesson is called coefficient. So a coefficient is a number multiplied by a variable. So using our example here, we're thinking, do we see any numbers that are multiplied by variables? Yes, I see 2 numbers that are multiplied by variables. So for 5x, 5 is the coefficient because it's being multiplied by x. For 4x, 4 is the coefficient because it's being multiplied by x also. So 5 and 4 are coefficients. Let's look at this example here. And what I want you to do is I want you to identify the terms, like terms, constants, and coefficients. So I'm going to give you all about a minute on your own to think about what these answers will be. And then in 1 minute, I will put up the answer key. Okay, I'm going to put up the answers soon. Really hope you're thinking about them. All right, so here are the answers. So the terms that I see are 4n, -7, -n, and 9. And the reason why I have -7 and -n is I had to use KFC to change this expression to have all addition signs. Now, for like terms, I see 2 like terms. I see 4n and -n. And then I also see -7 and 9. Neither of those have a variable attached to them, so those are like terms. I see 2 constants, which are -7 and 9, because neither of them have a variable attached to them. And then the 2 coefficients, remember a coefficient is a number multiplied by a variable, are 4 and then -1. Okay, awesome guys, thanks for watching, and I will see y'all in class soon. Bye.